All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go with Mao's Mana against
Evil Geniuses Axslav.
Yeah, you might know him, and you might know this guy too. It is LZGamer going to be commentating with me on this wonderful game. It's going to be Antiga Shipyard that we're moving over towards, and I am excited.
As am I.
It must be nice to cast your teammate too.
Yeah.
This guy, Axslav, tell me a little about him.
All right. Axslav is probably the slowest APM professional player I have ever seen.
What are you talking about?
He comes from Warcraft 3.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Press M real quick.
Okay.
That is not slow, okay?
All right. The guy is very methodical about his play, though.
Oh, okay, it's all the way up to 4.
Current 4.
Oh! Oh, look at that. He just went up to 96. Just 20 times 25, okay? And then he just went down
like
to
his all-time high, too. So he's a slow APM player, but he's a smart player. He thinks out everything he's going to do. He makes every action he does count. He has a Warcraft 3 background. He's also one of the 2v2 players for Team Evil Geniuses as well, him with Strife Crow. Oh, so he is a great player, and he's one of those players that can beat anyone, I feel like. But at the same time, sometimes his mechanics might hold him back.
Yep, it can be very hard, especially for a player like him. I mean, you can see his APM, his average APM is 34. Okay, so nevertheless, he's gone against Mana, who, this guy has been looking so amazing as of late. I really am looking forward to how he shapes up in NASL Season 2. I really feel like he's the type of player with the right mindset. He can get into the NASL Season 2 finals. I would love to see him there in California playing his heart out for the prize pool of $100,000, of course.
We do have identical builds going on at this point of the game. Nothing out of the ordinary.
Nope, and a lot of times in PvP, especially on this map, we do have a ramp, so it's very easy to stop any sort of 4-gate play. The counter to 4-gate is knowing that the 4-gate is coming. That's the big thing, and you do that by, of course, getting that probe in there, and 95% of the time, as long as you scout, you will be able to get your probe in there and see exactly what's going on. See how many probes are cut. If there's a second assimilator, we do see a second assimilator going down for Axslav. For Mana, though, we don't see one just yet. The probe is first going to get up here, and there goes that second assimilator.
Right, so we do have 2 assimilators going down for both players. This is a bigger map now than some of the other maps in the map pool. So maybe this will be lean them towards more of a macro-based game than a 4-gate. What do you think?
Well, that's definitely the number one thing that's probably going to be happening. Now, a lot of deviations come out from here. We can see Robotech, we can see Twilight Council attack, or we could see some sort of delayed 4-gate or delayed 3-gate. We do see Mana not taking his gas right now, and Axslav has seen that. Axslav is taking his gas, however. He only has 2, it looks like, on that one bottom assimilator. What does he do, though, to follow it up? A lot of people actually chrono boost out, these gateway units. There he goes right now, but he's not opting to get some sort of sentry play.
Right. It does look like that Axslav, though, has chrono boosted his Nexus a couple more times. He is ahead in the probe count, and that adds up after a while. If you can continually stay ahead, especially in a mirror matchup, it really pays off.
Yeah, I completely agree. We're going to see how these 2 players actually start to develop this later stage, though, because this is where things really start to separate. We do see 2 gateways going down for Mana, and 2 gateways going down for Axslav. So both these players playing pretty much identical, except the small little advantage in that probe.
Yeah. The real question is, are we going to see maybe Blink Stalker transition?
It definitely could be. It looks like that one probe is going to die. Yes, it will. These Stalkers are going to get away very, very easily. There's a sentry up on this high ground, and it will be able to stop any form of aggression coming onto this this front line. So really, really nice play by both of those. Actually, is Man actually going to? No, he's just trying to bait. So clever of him. He's trying to bait the force field, and he did get it after all. So Mana, what is he doing after this? Robotics facility, that's going to be the more standard play. Robotics facility coming down for both these players. So Blink Stalker is good, don't get me wrong, but Colossus, once you get a huge amount of Colossus, it can be very, very troublesome. You can just take your expansion, go ahead and put some gateways up, and have your Colossus behind it. That ensures that something like a charge lot timing won't work on you. and you can normally just get up to 5-6 Colossus push, and you're looking really, really good.
Yeah, both players are actually playing pretty identical to each other. Both players look like they want to expand right now. Axslav's expansion went down a little bit before Mana's. But yeah, both players playing pretty darn identical. 2 Stalkers trying to catch up to this 1 Stalker of Mana. Is Axslav going to be able to take this one down? No, but he is going to be able to weaken it up some. And, you know, that's gonna matter later on. That's going to be a few less shots that thing has to take before it dies.
Yes, definitely, definitely. Axslav did see that there are a lot of sentries being made, or that there were a lot of sentries made over there. So he knows exactly what to expect for the most part, because they're both, as you said, doing the same thing. That stupid Automatron kid is right over there with only 10 HP. He should definitely die. It's mechanical, so it deals extra damage when you use the Stalker. No, I'm just kidding. But still, things are just going to simmer down. I like this macro style play that both these players are doing, realizing that any all-ins don't really work, and actually getting away from the normal, which is sort of the Blink Stalker direction, that Twilight Council direction, and a mixture of Archon, you know, Immortal almost.
Yeah, I have to say, I really like the position Axslav's in, more so than Mana. Mana has an Immortal out in the field, and that's great at holding off any kind of attacks and aggression. But if we look back at Axslav, he has, like, no units. He has, like, 2 Stalkers in the middle of the map, and then he has a couple of Sentry that actually threw out an amazing force field to catch a scouting probe from running by. But because of that, he actually got all the way up to a Colossus already building in production.
Yep. And that's going to make a huge difference as well, because that gives him just so much more stability in his army, I feel. You can really just chill out. Oh, Axslav actually making a huge mistake, losing these Stalkers up here. Lose 2-1 right now. Of course, he's just going to go back to his Sentries. Sentries going to keep him absolutely safe. I don't see any way for there to be any more aggression. The Colossus comes out, and the big thing is that Mana was able to see it and says, oh man, I'm behind. He already has 1 Colossus out. I don't even have my robotics bait done yet. 3rd and 4th gas have finished. For Axslav, only 3rd gas for Mana, so overall, I would say Axslav, just because he cut a little bit of corners here and there, didn't make so many Stalkers, he was able to output that 1 Colossus and additionally get that 4th Assimilator. It's made all the difference.
I think it's even more than that. I'm going to go on a limb here and say that because Mana has not been chrono boosting his Nexus very much, that he's actually fallen way behind in income tab.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, I just caught that. I was like,
wow.
So, and yeah, and Axslav just was dedicated to chrono boosting that Nexus to get out that maximum economy that he could get, and it's really showing here. Being up 11 Harvesters is a big deal.
Yes, it is. Now, Axslav has gone for the +1 attack on the Forge, and look at this. Oh my god. Double Stargate. He's being a tricky trickster.
I don't even know what's coming out of the Stargate.
Okay, so there's a couple ways that you can do this. You can do Void Rays or Phoenix. It's most likely, I would say, going to be something like Phoenix to hard counter those eventual Colossus. I don't even know if he knows that Colossus are coming out. Let me just check. He did see the Robo, so I think he's just assuming Colossus will be coming out. But basically what it does, if you catch your opponent off guard like crazy, then you have these 10 Phoenixes. Takes out all the Colossus very, very fast, similar to Vikings.
And then they can also lift up the Stalkers and everything else. Yeah,
exactly.
And
you know what? It basically says, as soon as the battle's over, it doesn't matter what you warp in, I'm going to lift up every single one of those units.
I really like that idea. And you know, Axslav has been at the EG house practicing a lot lately with players on EG, such as Huck and In Control. Those are our other 2 Protoss players. So he has probably got a lot of practice in for this NASL match, and this is a very unique build we're seeing right here.
Yeah, definitely. He actually, well, he was using this from Season 1 of NASL.
Really?
Not particularly to Stargate. The timing's a little bit different, but still something very, very similar to this. So I do like this coming out of him. Mana is pushing out right now, and this might be the perfect time to be pushing out. +1 is almost done for Weapons Air on on Axslav's side. He does have 4 Phoenixes out. Is it going to be doing enough damage? That's going to be the big question, because 4 doesn't really do too much. But here we go. The Colossus are going to come up here, and looks like they want to snipe that 1 robotics facility. Or
pylon. I mean, whatever, you know.
Whatever.
Small victories, small victories.
That's all you can ask for. Now the Phoenixes are shown, and it looks like Axslav, he might start to press out. What is he going to do right now? He does have a higher supply than his opponent. Looks like Twilight Council is coming up right now. This punishes a very, very light Stalker play, but what I think Mana really needs is going to be that High Templars. The High Templar, or not particularly the High Templars, but also the Archons. I think the Archons do a lot of damage. Look at that. Phoenix able to just run in here and kill one of the Colossus before not even one of them dies. Holy guacamole. That was so fast. Very well played by Axslav. That's a huge victory for him. He's going to try to get in here and deny this third. Oh my god, it might go down before the Nexus. No, it's not going to, but very, very cool play coming out from Axslav.
Yeah, definitely. We do see some Phoenixes, though, that might be picked off. No. Good control from Axslav. He's using that 91 APM to the fullest of his potential.
Oh, he's spiked up very high. You can see he's doing such a great job. Mana, you know, this guy's a beast, and, you know, he's having a very, very tough time against Axslav. Axslav, does he have the Thermal Lance? No, he does not. Range is only 6. This could be a huge disaster. Here we go in. The big engagement's going to start right now. He's going to start lifting up those units. It looks like the Stalker's the ones that get lifted up, but he really needs to focus down on those Colossus. It looks like Mana is actually targeting down those Phoenixes, but now the huge lifts should happen right now. He needs to lift up that one Immortal. The Immortal does so much damage. Axslav is going to be pushed back all the way to the natural. Does he have the means to deal with this? This is going to be the huge, huge problem. I'm not sure if he does. Now finally lifting up that Immortal after the Immortal was doing just so much damage, and it looks like Mana will be thwarted. He will not be able to continue this attack, and with that third being up, this is such a great advantage. Oh, actually, a lot of Stalkers are coming in from behind.
Huge warp in coming in, and this is actually pretty bad. Not having that Thermal Lance upgrade really, really hurt Axslav here, and Mana is actually going to kill Axslav's third base here, and that's going to even up the base count.
That will indeed. It's all going to be, if he can clear out all these Stalkers, that's going to be the big question. There's the big lifts coming out right now. Looks like Blink is researched. That's going to help so much against these very, very slow slow Zealots, rather. And there's going to be another lift in. The Phoenixes are doing good damage, but it's not going to be enough. It looks like there's too many Stalkers. There's the big blink upon all of those units. It looks like only 4 Phoenixes are left.
Yeah, I don't know what Axslav can do here because he does not have the gateway count that Mana has. So after he lost all of his big tech units, he just cannot warp in enough units to deal with the ground army of Mana.
Yep, so difficult. Unit tab is showing 50 to 58 now, so the probe count has kind of diminished, or excuse me, the probe differentiation has diminished quite a bit. Now that third gets destroyed, and it looks like Mana has taken a very, very big advantage. You know what? I think this game would have been much different if that Thermal Lance was upgraded. Yeah,
definitely. The Thermal Lance is what makes a Colossus powerful. Without that range upgrade, they're nothing more than a, you know, a little bit buffer Stalker or something like that.
We do see the Colossus coming in here for Mana. It looks like this is going to be the last engagement coming in right here. There's a lot of Phoenixes out in the field, but nothing really to deal with these Stalkers. That's going to be the big problem. Here oh my god, Big Blink comes up on top, kills off and snipes that one Colossus. The second Colossus looks like it's going to be sniped as well. It's not able to be microed back in time. Looks like all these Stalkers are just going to be way too much. Axslav is under a lot of trouble. All the Blink is just doing way too much damage. Axslav GG's, and Mana is going to take the first match. And Mana looks to be just too strong for Axslav. I felt like Axslav had a really good chance at defending that off. I really think that Thermal Lance upgrade not being researched was a huge, huge problem.
Yeah, I mean, having that big of a probe lead in that stage of the game, especially in a PvP, I felt like he should have been able to churn out just that many more units than his opponent. And, you know, he tried a very unique build. He tried going Colossus and then going into Phoenix, but I think he forgot the range upgrade. I think he thought he had it the whole time. Yeah,
one thing when you're going a Phoenix build, you need one of two things. You either need a Colossus count, which is kind of okay, but I would have really, really preferred him to have charge lots and Blink Stalkers. I think that way is a much, much stronger way to go about it. But you need something to deal damage to those units because, you know, in closing up on those units, it's going to be the toughest thing to do.
Yeah. Also, I think maybe charge lots and immortals would be a really good combination because That way, you know, you have the Phoenixes that take out the Colossus, and then they're obviously have to make Stalkers to deal with the Phoenixes,
Exactly.
and then the Immortals become super effective.
Exactly. All you have to do is lift up every single one of the Zealots, their Zealots,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden you have these units, the Zealots and the Immortals, that are super effective against the
Right.
Stalkers. And, you know, it's just like Pokemon Grass
Just
versus
like
Fire.
Pokemon.
You know?
Yeah.
Or Fire versus Grass. I
Fire
should
versus
say.
Grass, yeah.
Fire versus Grass. Grass, I heard not too good about
Not too good
fire.
against
Same
fire.
thing with propane tanks. Not too good. Anyway, we're going to be moving on to game number 2 between these two players. PvP action coming your way after this break, guys.